This week on The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Crying all the time over everything. And I'm the slob? I'm the slob? Okay, Jackie. And yeah, Margaret should keep her mouth shut about me and Paul.
This isn't the first thing I've heard you say
Yo,
about
what is
me.
up, everybody, and welcome back. Let's talk about the new episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 14, Episode 7. This was such a good episode, you guys. Let's get started. Alright, so we start the episode with this meeting that went left. Teresa, Louis, Rachel, and John met up to talk about the things, but it went left. John got angry, so him and Teresa began to insult each other. So they left, and he tells her, "I'll call you when I want my money laundered." What I didn't like was that we saw this in the last episode. Teresa, when she got there, she told him to give her brother a bottle for his housewarming as a gift. And John and Rachel, when they left it there. So this whole thing didn't go anywhere. We then see Danielle. She's back from New York Fashion Week. Her and Nate wake up the kids so they can get them ready for school. Next up is Dolores. Her mom is there, and so is her daughter, who is a veterinarian. They do a weekly breakfast slash lunch every Tuesday. That's awesome. You know, the three generations. Dolores says that they just met Frankie Jr.'s new girlfriend and they really liked her. She was really nice. Sadly, though, one of the family dogs has some tumor and it's looking bad. And Frank wants to make his engagement happen really fast. Speaking of engagements, they kind of bring up the idea of Dolores getting engaged, and Dolores has to tell them yet again that she cannot move any further with Pauley if he doesn't get divorced. Although he did ask her to come work with him. He does electrical work. Her mom and daughter were like, huh? Is he an electrician? No, Pauley is a contractor, so he would like Dolores to work with the company, even though he hasn't given her no title, no job description. Pauley has a lot of businesses, like the brothels in Ireland, allegedly. I don't know, but I'm tired of hearing about Pauley, and after last week, the way he spoke to Dolores, I think she could do so much better than Buzz Lightyear. The next scene is a Teresa scene with her family, her daughters, Louis, and his sons. A barber came to the house to cut Louis's son, Nicholas's hair. It's really nice to see that Teresa has really embraced her stepchildren, and they have as well. Alright, so then we see the Fudas. We see her and John with their little daughters. Unfortunately, one of her daughters is having developmental delays, and she's having trouble walking, and also something with her tongue and speaking. That's so sad, and I wish that she could get better, because it's hurtful for them, to see their children like this. But it was nice seeing them as a family together. People then start getting ready for the Gorga's housewarming party. Marge gets out of the shower and tells her husband Joe that she's really disappointed at Jackie for not being such a great friend lately. And now that Teresa has given her the time of day, all of a sudden she's jumping to that bandwagon. We see Jennifer Aydin getting ready as well. She tells Bill that it'll be interesting to see if Joe Gorga comes up to her. She says that Teresa doesn't really mind her going. She just doesn't want her to talk about her. But her biggest issue is with Danielle. She says that Danielle, what she did to Lena, the hairdresser, was very bad. She says that Danielle has an elitist attitude and that she needs to be careful because, quote, God has an interesting way of humbling people down. And I think that's very interesting because look at what's been happening to Jennifer Aydin. She's the one that's been humbled down lately on social media by getting exposed for her treacherous ways, aka Melissa's old nose. So I just wanted to put that out there because it seems like Jennifer Aydin really wanted this thing with Lena seems so manufactured. Who gives a damn? Alright, so then it is time for the party. The theme is obviously they have a lot of Italian food, but it's lemons. And there was a lot of yellow and lemons. The house looked good. They had this huge cutout of the David with Joe Gorga's face and a lemon in the private area. Listen, giving Kenya more. Let's be careful with the private areas. I did love Melissa's refurbishing of her home. No one can deny that it was very nice. The office, the closets, the game room, very nice. Everyone begins to arrive, and then Rachel pulls Melissa to quickly tell her about the disastrous meeting with Teresa. She says that it went bad, but it was interesting that Louis didn't say a single word. Then she tells her about the bottle and the card that Teresa told them to give to Joe, which obviously they left. But Melissa says, well, good thing you didn't bring it. I don't want that. It probably had an air tag or they wanted to spy on us. And I was just like, oh, come on, Melissa. It was a nice gesture. But then, you guys, Dolores makes her way in and she has the bottle. Melissa was making this into a big deal well, why did she want to give it to us? I thought she was done with us. I was just like, Melissa, get the bottle and shut up. It's not that serious. We then quickly see Teresa because she's the only one of the cast who didn't go to the party. She's cooking dinner. One of the things about Teresa is that she grew up in a very conservative and traditional household and upbringing. And for some reason, she wants Gia to kind of do the opposite. So she's like encouraging Gia to move in with her boyfriend. And in a way, I get it, but in a way, I don't. But going back to the Gorgas, they are all in the backyard, and Dolores, in front of everyone, tells Joe, listen, Joe, I brought the bottle. Teresa told me to bring it. I'm just the messenger. And apparently the bottle was their father's favorite drink. So then Joe Gorga gets a little emotional and starts going off. He says, I was happy for her. I was excited for her to get married again, but they effed me up. And even when they effed me up, I was still willing to accept them, but they went too far. This isn't an olive branch. An olive branch is you coming and knocking on my door. And then he says, let me see that card. And without even opening it or anything, he throws it into the fire. And I hate that he did that because I thought it was a nice gesture. But that's just me. And like, who knows what was in that card? Maybe it was something that could have changed their relationship. So I didn't like that he did that. Aydin then makes it in with Bill and Jackie and Evan. Melissa didn't feel like hearing Jackie jap about not being invited to something else, so she just went ahead and invited her. Joe Gorga then starts doing his crazy thing with all the men squirting shots and playing with the David cutout. A mess. So then Rachel is with all the girls and she's telling them all about this meeting with Teresa. She says that it went horribly. Dolores says that Teresa talked to her about it and obviously told her side. Rachel says that the conversation began to go left when Teresa had the nerve to call Jaden's birth mother her mother and that they needed to respect her. That's offensive because that woman might have given birth to him, but Rachel is his mom. Not only has she raised him and cared for him and nourished him, legally she is his mom. And even Dolores said, yeah, I can't defend that part. And Rachel says that, maybe the chat should have just been with John and Louis from the very beginning. So you guys, as Rachel is just saying this, just talking about the meeting, Jackie whispers to Jen Fessler's ear and says, I've never seen someone have so much hatred for Teresa like Rachel. She clearly has someone in her ear, probably Melissa and Margaret. So then when they all disperse, Dolores tells Margaret, I just heard Jackie say that it's probably you who's in Rachel's ear to get to Teresa. So Margaret is like, let me go talk to her. So the conversation then, it's between Jackie, Melissa, and Marge. Melissa says to Jackie, listen, I'm not mad at you for being friends with Teresa. Jackie then says, well, you clearly tried to make a problem at the brunch. You brought up something that I told you. And Melissa's like, girl, it was in your book. And Jackie says, it doesn't matter if it was in my book. It's not out yet. So what Melissa's referencing is that in her book, Jackie writes that Teresa made her go into a relapse. But Melissa just wants to nip this in the bud. She says, I just want to let you know I'm not mad at you. So then it's just Marge and Jackie fighting. And Jackie says to her, you have insinuated that all of my success came from you and my book deal came because of you. And Marge says, no, that's your insecurity. I was hurt that you didn't send me the book. Then Jackie says, you're just mad that I'm friends with Teresa and too bad. You're a waste of my time and I'm walking away. There was something about the way that Jackie said that it kind of sounded like a slap in the face to Margaret. Because think about it. Forget teams right now. Forget if you like Teresa. Forget if you like Margaret. If your friend all of a sudden starts hanging out with someone who you don't like for whatever the reason is, and then they come to you and say, you're just mad because I'm friends with them. Deal with it. I don't know. It was really, really, I think it is a betrayal to Mark personally. And Margaret was actually staying calm. I actually think that there is a problem with Jackie mentally. And this is not funny. This is not shade. I actually am worried about her because apparently Jackie was mad that Dolores accidentally didn't tag her in an Instagram picture. And then she goes to hug Joe, Marge's husband. And Marge says, don't hug my husband. But then you guys, there's more drama. So Danielle is over there somewhere and she tells Jennifer Aydin, what's going on with you and me? Jennifer says, well, you asked me why we didn't stick up for you when Lena was talking about you. And I didn't stick up for you because I didn't agree with what you did. It's okay to want to come up, Danielle, but don't push people out of the way and step on them. And Danielle is like, what are you talking about? This is a woman who blew my hair once. And in her confessional, she goes a little more into detail and she explains that the VIP area wasn't a vanity thing. It was a safety thing because there was a lot of people. She worked really hard for that event. And by the way, Lena, the hairdresser, who shouldn't be in VIP because who is she, wanted to bring Laura with her. Laura, the woman who tried to infiltrate the group last season. Jennifer Aydin, I think she just wanted to start a fight because then she starts saying, we did so much for you that night. And Danielle's like, yeah, I know. Thank you. Jennifer says, you couldn't promote my husband's company? Danielle, or like his plastic surgery, whatever. And Danielle's like, no, I couldn't. Then Jennifer starts bad mouthing Danielle's event pretty much and talking about, I pay for my stuff and whatever. Which, mind you, this was a charity event. Charity. Danielle says to Rachel, listen, just in the future, if anything happens that you don't like, that I do, or whatever, don't let it fester. Let me know right away, will you? So they say, okay. And Jennifer does eventually talk to Joe. But then, you guys, this was the craziest last 2 minutes. When I thought this couldn't get any crazier, it does. Margaret sees that Jackie is over there trying to buddy-buddy with Dolores. So Margaret quickly screenshots her messages with Jackie because she sees that Jackie's talking to Dolores. So Margaret's like, well, you over there taking cheap shots? I'm taking screenshots. In the text messages, Jackie called Dolores a slob. It was hilarious that Dolores, she was in the middle of a conversation with Jackie. She pulls her phone, puts her glasses to read, and says, you called me a slob? Jackie tries to quickly apologize, but Dolores was pissed. She says, this isn't the first time that I've heard you say stuff about me. And then in her confessional, Dolores says, how can the little girl who's a hot mess every day, crying over everything, call me a slob? Wow. And that was the end. Dolores was like, give me a few minutes because it's too much. But yeah, Jackie was busted. And I mean, listen, with what Jackie threw in her face about, you're just mad because I'm friends with Dolores, you're a waste of my time, I don't blame her for taking that. And that was crazy. But anyway, you guys, that was the episode. Again, really good episodes with New Jersey. I've been entertained by every single one personally. I don't know why the viewership is decreasing, and this reunion, I think they should have it. There's a lot of stuff they need to talk about. So anyway, you guys, next week we saw the preview. It looks like we will see the fight between Danielle and Jennifer Aydin. And again, it looks like Jennifer Aydin was the one who initiated it. But we'll talk more about that once we see more context to that. But you guys, please let me know what were your thoughts on this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.